Enzo Maresca, your time has come. Atalanta 2, Chelsea 1. What did I just witness? I've never seen a game get thrown away so unnecessarily. And it's only been a week. A week ago, I said, you know what? Let me dust off the channel. I'm going to bring back some content. Let's start covering some games. And since then, let's say I made that decision after the Arsenal game, so I'm not going to count that. But since then, we got spanked by Leeds. The Bournemouth 0-0 snooze fest. I didn't even cover that game. And then this game against Atalanta, we just threw it away for absolutely no reason. This was not a game we needed to lose. We very much had this under control. Not saying we were going to go blow them out 4 or 5-0 or anything, but 1-0 up, we could have saw this out. And for some reason, we just threw the game away. And I'm losing my mind. But I'm not the only one. Enzo Maresca is clearly losing his mind. I think the last week has just made him overthink everything. The Leeds game, he should have played Josh. He realized he heard all the stuff about Tosin, all this stuff. Understandable, Bournemouth, whatever. Obviously, we're missing Caicedo in those games. But he just overthought this game and the subs that he made. I don't even know if it's necessary to talk about the first half because this is the game of the second half and the story of how we threw this game away. But let's just say first half, they had their chances. Josh playing well, that block. Were able to grab our goal. I wouldn't even say we were dominant in the first half, but we were able to grab our goal. Reece James doing what he does, probably arguably our best player in terms of overall ability. Just doing what he does. Finds João Pedro, who finally gets on the score sheet. It's been rough in terms of his actual output, but he finally gets on the score sheet. We started to take control of the game a little bit. We weren't able to grab a second before the half, but going into the half, you're like, okay, we're doing all right. We got our goal. Let's hope to see this out, get a 2-0 maybe, and we take it. We take it and we move. Especially looking at the table, we were in a good spot. We want to get that automatic qualification. Now we're down to 11th, but obviously if we had won the game, we would have been up with 13 points. We would have been in a good spot. Now Atalanta have obviously jumped. We would have been where they are, basically. We would have just reversed positions. So that was a big opportunity missed there. But at that point, I was thinking, okay, we have a good opportunity here to really go high in the table and hopefully guarantee automatic qualification soon. But at halftime, I just don't know what got into his head, but he just started losing it. So 1-0, we're chilling. Halftime, Fofana for Chalobah. Okay, I'm not mad at that. Like for like swap. If anything, Fofana's ceiling's higher. You want to rest Chalobah. We know we got Everton coming up. It makes sense. We get Fofana some minutes, but not too many minutes coming in for a half. Fair enough. I understand that. But this Skamaka goal, what was the defending on that? Literally, Skamaka, to be fair, it's a good cross, but Skamaka is chilling by himself. Fofana's in no man's land. Josh, I think he's maybe trying to cover for Lookman, but he could have tried to make a play on it. Sanchez is in no man's land. Just the entire, like, I don't know, the entire defense just fell asleep in that moment. Skamaka gets a header, 1-1. And I'm like, okay, they got that. That was fair enough, but we should still go on and maybe grab a goal or something. And then if you want to look at the bench, who we had on the bench today, Andre Santos could have made a difference. Buonanotte, okay, say what you want about him. Marguillo's on the bench. Tyreek George, he can grab a goal here or there. Obviously, the big one, Esteval, our star boy, sitting on the bench. Especially because Enzo wasn't playing too well. Andre Santos makes a lot of sense as a sub. But instead, we go 1-0 down. He brings on Garnacho for Pedro Neto. Pedro Neto's always a threat. But, okay, well, I shouldn't say always, but he can be a threat. But he brings Garnacho on, pushes him to the left, pushes Gitsons out to the right. Okay, interesting. Whatever. When I saw that, I was thinking, okay, he's setting up for the Esteval sub. He's getting Garnacho, getting him warmed up on the left. Gitsons going to go out to the right for a few minutes. Then we bring on Esteval on the right. Okay, that's what I was thinking at the time. He brings in Malo Gusto for Enzo Fernandez, and I'm thinking, huh, that's an interesting sub. I mean, you have Andre Santos on the bench. I'm not really sure why you're bringing in a right back to go play in Enzo Fernandez's role. And then you see how we actually set up. If you look at the lineup again, at that point we have Achapong on, we have Reece James on, we have Caicedo on, Cucurella on, and they brought on Garnacho and Gusto. So Gusto is playing in midfield. Reece James is playing in midfield. Caicedo is playing in midfield. And Cucurella is playing in midfield. Basically, how we're setting up in possession. Then all of a sudden, Caicedo starts to drop a little bit deeper, start picking up center back positions, whatever. But either way, why do we have so many fullbacks playing in midfield? Because Josh is pushing up as well. I don't understand why Andre Santos didn't see the field in this game. That didn't make sense to me. Maybe he's gonna come out after the game and say Andre Santos wasn't fit or protecting him for Everton. I don't know. But the game is here right now. We have to go win this game. We can't be thinking about the next game. We have to go win this game. At least not drop points. So that didn't make any sense. We're sitting there at 1-1 with three fullbacks in the midfield and plus Caicedo, who can play at fullback, and then dropping into center back. It's just all of a sudden, the formation just looks like a mess. It really looks like a mess. But still, at that point, I'm like, okay, it's not great, but if we can get Esteval on here, maybe that sorts it out a little bit, and we have that attacking option that we need on the ball. Then they make their subs, whatever. This is the one part where, okay, obviously this is out of Maresca's hands. Fofana had like a freak incident where he's going in for a slide tackle, and then the boot kind of goes back and hits him. I think it was Skamaka before he went off. His boot kind of go back and hits him in the face, and I think he catches him in the eye. So even though he gets back up, he plays for like 5 more minutes. It's clearly bothering him. He has to end up going off. But I think that was the sub where we needed Esteval, and instead we bring on Tosin. And you know how I feel about Tosin. I'm not going to rehash it. I'm not going to just dogpile one player forever. But you know how I feel about Tosin. But we bring on Tosin. And you could say, I said I'm not going to get on Maresca. You could say, okay, we lost a center back. We need to bring on a center back. Fair enough. But then if you look who's actually on the pitch, Fofana goes off, right? We have Gusto, Garnacho. We have Achimpong, who's still on the pitch. We have Badiashile, who's still on the pitch. Caicedo, Reece James, and Cucurella. We have a lot of defenders on at one time. We can afford to put on an Esteval when we need to go grab a goal. We're just settling for a 1-1. If you bring on Esteval, you can move Josh to the center back. We still have Badiashile, Cucurella left back. You could play Reece James at right back. You could play Gusto at right back. We could even play Caicedo if you're obsessed with Gusto in midfield for some reason. Realistically, you should put Gusto right back. James and Caicedo stay in here. But for some reason, whatever, we put on Tosin, and now we have Tosin, Josh, Badiashile, Cucurella, James, Gusto, all on the pitch at the same time, plus Caicedo, who's basically dropping in the center back. To me, that is actual blasphemy. Like Enzo Maresca, I have patience. I'm not even saying this is like when I say your time has come. What I mean by that is that it's your time to get criticized, because I'm going to criticize other managers who deserve it. You're not beyond criticism as well. And as Chelsea fans, we've had patience. We had the United game, which was a disaster class, but then you showed that you can show up in big games against other teams, and you showed some growth in the Arsenal game when we got the red card. But clearly this last week has gotten to your head, and the subs are all over the place. I know we had the lap injury, some unfortunate things have happened, and we are missing a lot of midfielders. Lavia still injured. I mean, I don't know what's going on. It's tough. This guy apparently come back in January. Lavia's rough. Asugo, you just Lavia part 2 at this point. So I know we're missing midfielders, but we do have Santos on the bench. We do have Esteval, who can come in and provide us something in attack. We could have shifted the formation to drop one of these fullbacks back to fullback. Why are we forcing fullbacks into midfield? That's just, to me, it didn't make any sense. And obviously, I'm not just saying, I was saying this at the time, but as you can see, the Ketelade, who, Shout out to him. He's one of my FIFA dons from a long time ago. Either way, that's beyond the point. He ends up going to get the goal, the winning goal, and they see the game out the way we couldn't. We couldn't. And if you can see here, I got a little Akatsuki hoodie on. If you know about it, if you know, you know. But it seems like Enzo Maresca is in some genjutsu, bro. If you know what I'm talking about, shout out to you, right in the comments. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. Cause this dude is lost. He is lost. He's in some kind of genjutsu, bro. So we need him to snap out of that ASAP. ASAP. We need him to snap out of that because we have to win our next game. First of all, like I said, look at the table in the Champions League. Now we're in danger zones. We're in not super danger. We're still going to be in those playoff games, whatever. But we don't want to be there. We don't want to be playing extra games toward the end of January, early February. That's unnecessary when we could be qualifying. Why are Liverpool ahead of us? They've been cheeks. Let's just call it what it is. Liverpool should not be ahead of us. So even Spurs should not be ahead of us. So we need to go get back in this top 8 ASAP. And then if you can look at our next, let's look at our next Prem game, Everton. That is a must win. A must win. And I'm not saying that because they're easy. Shout out Everton. They always put up a good match for anyone, no matter where they are. But we should be beating Everton. I don't know. Right now, it doesn't look like we're in 5th, they're in 7th. So really, it's not going to be an easy game. But we need to beat Everton. I'm sorry. That's a must win. After the week we just had, that's a must win if you have any real top 4 aspirations. And then obviously Cardiff in the cup. That's like, I shouldn't even have to say anything about that. If we somehow pull some kind of Grimsby situation, just then we have some serious conversations. But anyway, you know, we have a rough rest of the month. I'm not going to go through every fixture. It's gonna be rough. But as of right now, I'm just disappointed. I'm honestly disappointed. We did not need to lose that game. Not to say we dominated the game, but really we should not be losing that in any situation. That was a disaster class from Enzo Maresca. I'm just going to say it how it is. That was a disaster class against massive teams. Clearly, he's like some kind of genius. But in games like this, it's just poor. And that's tough because what we expected from him was in Champions League. That's where you're going to make the difference. Atalanta are 12th in Serie A. Why are we losing to the 12th place team in Serie A? No disrespect to Serie A. It's a fun league in terms of the table. It's competitive, whatever. Shout out Roma. But we should not be losing the 12th place in Serie A. And to be fair, we should not be losing the Leeds either. We should not be losing the Bournemouth. I know we didn't lose, but we should be beating Bournemouth too. So that whole situation, just that whole game, what did I just watch? What did I just watch, honestly? If you look at the rest of these results, I'm not going to go in depth. Liverpool looked like they snatched a win. It's about slide pen. I wasn't watching that game, but okay, fair enough. Monaco got their win. Atleti had a comeback, got their win. Spurs, I mean, that's what they should do. Marseille got their win. Barca got the comeback win. So all these other teams around us getting their results, obviously buying, getting their results. We're the one team who should be doing certain things. They're not doing that thing. So disappointing result. I guess on to the Everton game. It's up next. Hopefully that's a better result, and I'm not coming on here depressed because I just dropped the video about the J League final day, depressed, and now this game. What's going on, bro? The Leeds game. What's going on, bro? I need a win. I need some victory in my life. So please, 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 Chelsea, pull through in that game. And there's also Man City Madrid tomorrow. Maybe I'll do a video on that game if you guys are interested in that. But thank you all for watching, especially if you made it this far. Like, subscribe, all that good algorithm stuff. Much appreciated. And I'll see you guys at least for the Chelsea Everton game, but maybe for Man City Madrid tomorrow. We'll see. Peace.